What if everything you thought you knew about full coverage car insurance was wrong? Millions of drivers pay their premiums every month feeling safe and secure until disaster strikes. In fact, a recent survey found that nearly 50% of drivers believe full coverage protects them from everything. But the truth? Doesn't.
Wait, what?
Imagine finding out the hard way that your full coverage doesn't actually cover the one thing you need the most, leaving you with a bill that you can't afford. Sounds shocking, right?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does, my friend.
Well, I'm a licensed property and casualty adjuster, and for almost 10 years, I've helped people navigate tricky claims and avoid expensive mistakes. And in this video, I'm going to break down what full coverage really means, the gaps that could cost you thousands, and the simple steps you can take to protect yourself. And trust me, you'll want to stick around for the part where we talk about the one type of coverage most drivers skip that could save you from paying thousands out of pocket. Because once you hear it, you'll wonder why no one ever told you before. Let's get into it. So here's the big question. What does full coverage actually cover? Let's say you're in an accident. Your car's totaled and you need a rental while it's in the shop. Or worse, the driver you hit doesn't have insurance. What happens then? You pull out your policy expecting answers, but instead you're hit with terms like deductibles, exclusions, and endorsements. Suddenly, that confidence you had in full coverage starts to crumble.
That's it! I'm losing it!
These situations happen every day, and most drivers only realize what's missing after an accident, when it's already too late. That's why we're going to break this down step by step, starting with what's included in a full coverage policy and, more importantly, what's not. Think of full coverage like a combo meal at a restaurant. It covers the basics, but it doesn't include all the extras, so let's break it down.
Now, who's hungry?
First, there's liability coverage, and this is the only type of coverage required by law in most states. It covers two key things. First, personal injury liability. So if you injure someone else in an accident, this pays for their medical bills, rehab costs, and even lost wages if they can't work. Then there's property damage liability. This pays to repair or replace someone else's car or any other property you damage, like a fence or a storefront. But, and this is important, liability coverage only helps other people. It won't pay for your injuries or fix your car.
What about me, please? What about me?
That's where the next two coverages come in. Next, there's collision coverage, and this one is all about protecting your car. If you crash into another car, a tree, a pole, or even a pothole, collision coverage helps you pay to repair or replace your vehicle regardless of who's at fault. But here's the catch. Collision coverage only applies to accidents. So if your car gets stolen, vandalized, or crushed by a falling tree, you're out of luck unless you have the next type of coverage. Finally, we have comprehensive coverage. Think of this as protection against the unexpected.
Well, that was unexpected.
Anything that's not a collision. This includes theft. If your car is stolen, comprehensive will pay its value. Vandalism, keyed paint, broken window or slashed tires, generally covered. Natural disasters, hailstorms, floods, and falling trees, gotcha. Animals. If you hit a deer or it hits you, comprehensive takes care of the damage. But even with all three, liability, collision, and comprehensive, there are still huge gaps that most people don't know about.
There's more?
So what's missing? Let's go through the biggest gaps that often catch people off guard. If your car is in the shop after an accident, how do you get around? Most people assume insurance includes a rental car. The truth? It doesn't, unless you've added rental reimbursement coverage. Nearly 40% of drivers don't have this coverage. That means if your car is out of commission for 2 weeks, you could spend over $500 renting a car.
Okay, how much does it cost exactly?
Adding this coverage just costs a few dollars a month, but many drivers skip it and end up paying out of pocket. What happens if someone hits you and they don't have insurance, or not enough of it? Your collision coverage might help pay for the damage to your car, but it won't cover medical bills, lost wages, or pain and suffering. That's where uninsured motorists and underinsured motorists come in.
What does that mean?
What does that mean?
or underinsured motorist, pays for your injuries if the at-fault driver has no insurance at all. UIM kicks in when the other driver's limits are too low to cover the damage they cause. And here's the scary part. About 1 in 8 drivers in the US is uninsured, and many more carry only minimum limits that won't be enough in a serious crash. Without UM and UIM, you could be left paying out of pocket.
Who would want that?
If you or your passenger are injured, full coverage doesn't automatically include medical payments, MedPay, or personal injury protection, PIP. These cover hospital bills, lost wages, and even funeral costs, no matter who's at fault. Without them, you're stuck relying on health insurance, which may have a deductible or limits that leave you exposed. If you're leasing or financing your car, gap insurance is a must. Without it, you could owe thousands if your car is totaled, because insurance only pays what the car is worth, not what you owe on your loan. Now let's take a step back. All of this matters because insurance is supposed to protect you, but it only works if you understand what's actually in your policy. Too many drivers assume full coverage means they're safe. Then they find out, when it's too late of course, that they're not. But the good news? By identifying these gaps and adding the coverage you need, you can protect yourself from these costly surprises. So here's what you need to do next. First, review your policy. Look for gaps like rental reimbursement, UM, UIM, MedPay, or gap insurance. Next, call your agent. Ask about adding the coverages that you're missing or what may make sense for you and your family. Lastly, be prepared. Don't wait until it's too late to find out what's not covered. Now that we have a better understanding of what full coverage is, what it includes, and what it may not include, you may wonder what to do after an accident. Check out this video and I'll walk you through the exact steps to take when disaster strikes. As always, thanks for watching, drive safe, and stay covered. We'll see you in the next one.